Hello and welcome back to Around the Natty. Again, we're back after a little hiatus. We're fresh and we're fueled on Wild Mike's wings and cheese fries.
Darn right.
So we're going to hop right into it. We got a really good show. We're going to talk a little Reds, a little UC basketball, and Logan's got a little special thing that we're going to jump into. So go ahead, Logan. I'll let you take it away.
Yeah, so I think that it's only right to begin by honoring a legend here. For those of you who know me personally, and I will preface by saying, for this show, we really try to focus on Cincinnati sports. That's what the show's about. It's what it's going to be about. That's what we're centered around. We don't talk about really a whole lot outside of the context of Cincinnati sports. We don't even talk about Norwood sports, being that other school over there. So, but I do want to take a second. One of my personal heroes, actually just retired. He played his last game a couple nights ago, and I just want to point out this person was a three-time NBA champion, won in 2006, 2012, and 2013, was the NBA Finals MVP in 2006, a 13-time NBA All-Star, the NBA All-Star Game MVP in 2010, a two-time All-NBA First Team, a three-time All-NBA Second Teamer, a three-time All-NBA Third Teamer, and a three-time NBA All-Defensive Second Team. He was the NBA Scoring Champion in 2009. He was the NBA All-Rookie First Team in 2004. He was a consensus First Team All-American in 2003, a third-team All-American in 2002, the Conference USA Player of the Year in 2003, and most recently, his number 3 jersey was retired by Marquette. And obviously, if you guys haven't picked it up yet, we're talking about Dwayne Wade. And I just want to give a shout out to one of the greats. In my opinion, he'll go down as one of the 5 best shooting guards of all time. He's up there with Kobe, Jerry West, Michael Jordan, obviously. I think that without Dwayne Wade, I wouldn't have the love for the NBA that I have now. He's my personal hero. From the moment I turned the TV on in that 2006 season, which was his third year in the league, I knew from then on this was my guy, and I've ridden with him all the way through. We've seen some good times and some bad, and I'm gonna be honest with you. Watching him play his last game was probably harder than ending my 4-year relationship that recently just ended. So,
Yikes. Okay.
So, anyways, it does. It feels like it's the end of an era. I grew up watching this guy. Will always be my hero. I never got to watch him play live, and that will be one of the biggest regrets that I go down with in my life. But I had to take a second to recognize him and all that he's done. And D Wade, we love you. Wade County's out here, baby. And I'm 513 for life, but I'm right there with 305 too. So.
Oh my God. Okay. That was beautiful and great. However, we are gonna shift.
Back on topic, fellas.
Back onto
fellas.
Onto the 513. And we're gonna be pretty Reds heavy today. Obviously, with it being baseball season, the Bengals are kind of in like a weird state right now with the being the off season.
I think we talk a lot of Bengals on the show,
yeah.
So I think we deserve a break. I think you guys deserve a break too. So
yeah, so we'll start off. They had their first meetings, last week or this week. That's about as far as we're gonna go with it. But we're gonna go ahead and start off Reds. So we're gonna start off with impressions on first 12 games, how we feel about how the season's gone so far. What we think could be improved on. What do we think they've done well so far? So I'm gonna start off, and I'm gonna start off with pitching. One concern that everybody had coming into the season was how is our pitching going to be, and myself being the optimistic person that I am, was giving them the benefit of the doubt. However, I was not expecting them to come out this strong. And I've been pleasantly surprised with how well our pitching staff has pitched minus like 2 or 3 games. And you can't get a perfect start every time you go out there. And I obviously don't expect that after watching Cincinnati Reds pitching the past 2-3 years. But I've been extremely excited. Whenever Luis Castillo's on the mound, Sonny Gray as of late, which we'll touch on. One thing I want to touch on is Luis Castillo's his stats here. He has a .92 ERA in 2 games. He has allowed 5 hits in 2 starts, 2 runs in 2 starts. He's pitched 19.2 innings, and he's struck out 25 people. And that's insane. And the leaps and bounds that he's made this season are something that I don't think anybody expected outside of the organization. I certainly didn't expect it. But it really seems that he's reining it in, and he can be an elite. He's going to be an elite prospect in this league, or an elite player in this league.
Yeah. Are you ready for Captain Pessimism?
Yes.
Are you ready?
Give it to me.
So, and I do want to add Way Too Sharp and 8-4 Clark. Captain Pessimism is back, and I'm here to stay. That's right. So, man. So first of all, it was really funny because I have to address the fact that after we won opening day, I had a flood of people message me, see me either on campus at the Mount St. Joseph University, or text me, what have you, and just absolutely ribbed me, to no end. And I said to each one of those people, I'm like, in theory they could still go 1-in-161, So, that being said, I didn't want them to lose, but they did go on an 8-game skid where they couldn't find a way to win.
Now let me stop you really quick. Before the season started, your thing was the Reds had to score 12 runs to win the game.
I said they would score a lot of runs.
No, not a lot of runs. Correct. You said they're only gonna. You said they have to score 12 runs to win a game. Is that correct?
I forget what number I said, but yes, it was an absurd amount of runs.
Let me ask you a question here.
Okay.
How many runs did they give up in this past series?
3, right?
1. Okay. Past series, pitching was spot on except for DeSclafani.
Yeah, Disco had a rough outing.
The Brewers, they won.
Tanner Rourke was pretty bad too. But
he rained it. Dude, he went. That first inning was rough. He brought it back in. 3 runs is a winnable ball game, in my opinion. It's certainly not 12 runs.
I mean, 6 and 3 or under is a quality start, but
Okay, now let me just specify. Your problem was the pitching, and you thought the pitching wasn't going to do it. It was the exact opposite. We got little to no production out of all of our players.
Right.
Not our stars. Not Votto. Not Suarez. Not Peraza. Not Winker. None of them were hitting the ball. Our outfield was hitting terribly. Scott Schebler was leading off. And my God.
Now, what was he? 1 for 13 at one point? Or 0 for 13 at one point?
It was rough. Yeah. Winker was hitting poorly. But, they've started bringing it back in. They started scoring some runs. And look, we got ourselves a series sweep here in the third series of the year.
Yeah, so. Prior to that first game against the Marlins, man, it looked like the Reds of old, the Reds I knew and loved, where Johnny Cueto would come out and give you 8 innings of shutout ball, and then you still lose 1-0. You know,
it was. I mean, it was really frustrating.
Yeah,
to watch.
and I think frustrating is the perfect word for it, because especially being a person who coming into the season, I really didn't have much concern about the lineup. Right. Now that was also with the understanding impression that Scooter Gennett was playing and starting, and so having him out is obviously, I mean, that was your most productive bat last year in terms of power numbers
in the National League.
He was a monster last year, so that's obviously concerning. I wasn't surprised, nor am I too panicked by Yasiel Puig struggling early on.
He's always been a hit or miss guy.
Right.
He's kind of got like that Adam. He's kind of got like that Adam Dunn vibe where he either hits it into the river or strikes out. That's kind of the vibe I get from him. But he's had some clutch hits.
Yeah, well, and again, that didn't really surprise me. I don't know if I love Jesse Winker or Scott Schebler in the leadoff spot, and I don't think it's, and really I don't think that Jesse Winker can't be a fine leadoff guy.
Yeah.
I think he can, but I think he's just so much better with runners in scoring position and runners on base, and I think that you waste. I don't think it's an indictment against Jesse Winker's ability to be a leadoff batter, but I think it's rather a props to him being excellent with runners in scoring position. And one thing that, if you listen to Jeff Brantley on any broadcast, he always praises Jesse Winker, or Da Wink as they say,
I hate that.
Yeah, it's a Jim Day thing. Jim Day's not my favorite. Jim Day, if you're listening to this,
I just
come at me, bro.
I just hate when I hear Tom Brenneman say it.
But Jeff Brantley will give credence.
The cowboy.
The cowboy will give credence to Winker's ability to be effective at the plate with runners in scoring position, and he says most rookies, most young players come up from the minor leagues. Usually, when there's no one on base, that's when they perform their best. They're usually comfortable, no problem at the plate, but then struggle with runners in scoring position or on base.
Yeah.
And he said Jesse Winker's the exact opposite. It seems like when he has runners in scoring position or on base, he just turns it on. Light switch goes off, and he's just there. He's seeing the ball so much better. And it was funny because I remember watching listening to the broadcast as I watched the game, and literally he took two balls that were right on the edge of the plate, right in a row, right as Brantley saying that. He's like, "Yep, see, I told you." And then he ended up driving in a run that same plate appearance. So
well, with the lack of production, this past series against the Marlins, they've turned it on. Obviously, the Marlins aren't the greatest. However, they did have some good pitching. Trevor Richards for the Marlins is a great pitcher. He's very similar to Luis Castillo in the fact that he uses the changeup so effectively. But with that game, it was a close one, and we get to the 8th inning and Suarez goes deep, and then Winker goes deep, and
right.
that's the second game in a row Winker's gone deep. That's like the second game in a row that Suarez has gone deep, and I'm just saying, don't let these Redlegs get hot. Don't give them momentum, and I think it was less of a slump and more of like they lost their momentum,
And I don't want to, I know the Captain Pessimism thing is real, and I'll buy into it and I'll own it because it's kind of fun. And I don't mean to be pessimistic when I say this, but good teams beat bad teams.
Yeah.
So if we want to be a good team, we have to beat teams like the Marlins.
Yeah.
We need to
beat them bad.
And going into a 1-8 start in such a long season is not going to kill you, but in a division that's going to be as close as the NL Central is this year, 8-game skids can happen. You have to find a way to put series together in one series. I don't expect us to rattle off 25-game win streaks or something like that. But we have to put together 3 or 4 back-to-back series wins. And especially when we go and play a division rival, which we are in Mexico this weekend, and the Cardinals just got done beating up on the Dodgers out west. And so they're coming in hot. Going back to the pitching. The pitching is what we kind of began the conversation with. The pitching's been really impressive. I've been really impressed with the pitching. And Tyler Mahle coming in, who wasn't originally supposed to be slotted in the starting rotation, is filling well.
Alex Wood is out. Yeah,
Alex Wood's on the DL right now. Tyler Mahle's pitched fairly well.
His last start was a little rough.
Right, but I had confidence in his ability to recapture some of the magic that he found early in the beginning of last season.
Yeah.
But here's what I'll say to that end too. It takes about 3 to 4 weeks for these hitters to catch up with these pitchers. These pitchers have a severe advantage over these hitters, and so that's why I'm not panicking about our lack of production at the plate up to this point, because the middle of our lineup will heat up. Okay. Gino already has started to. Okay, there was 2 games where he was like 1 for 6 or 1 for 4 or something like that. Like Gino will be fine. Yasiel Puig will be fine. Joey Votto is going to get on base all the time. He's pretty good at baseball, guys.
If you didn't know that, he's pretty good at the sport.
Right, but what I am interested to see, and I'm not saying that I don't think they will continue being successful. I hope that they are. Luis Castillo, I think, will be fine. I think he's a very appropriate modern-day pitcher. He's got good velocity. His location is usually pretty good, and in today's pitchers, that's all you can ask for.
When he gets that changeup working, man, it's gnarly.
And he's got one really good off-speed pitch, and his changeup is nasty. And I think when his off-speed's working for him, he's great. He's a strikeout pitcher. He's going to strike you out a lot,
which works out in our favor.
Right, especially in our ballpark. But again, I say, let's see at the end of April. Let's see how we're looking, and even then, and that's the other thing too. As the weather gets warmer, these balls are going to come off the bat a little bit further, and they're going to float a little bit more. So for both, our lack of production at the plate, and then also our perhaps. I would say that at this point the rotation's overachieving, in my opinion. I think they've overachieved.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think that we'll see if that overachievement is real or not. And I think that that's when we'll get a better idea of what that looks like. But big series coming up this weekend. Hopefully, we can put some runs together and get things going.
Yeah, well, like I said, they are definitely overachieving. We saw Sonny Gray, his first start, a little rough. You were eager to jump on that train. You were eager to jump on that. And I was kind of thinking, and I know this may be like an excuse or whatever, it was cold that day. I mean, it was freaking cold. It was in the 20s to 30s. It was cold, man. And that's a tough thing to pitch in. And like you said, it's something you have to do if you're a major leaguer. Like, you gotta be able to throw in cold, especially if you want to go play October ball.
Right.
But
maybe that's why it's so bad in New York.
For real.
Maybe we couldn't handle the weather up there.
Well,
man.
I think that's more fan base than anything. But yeah, after that, his starts have been legit. His second start was so good, and his third start was going really well until he took a ball off the calf.
Yeah.
And even after that,
I think he could have pitched into the sixth, honestly.
Well, the thing was, he was playing through it. And what they had said had happened was his leg stiffened up.
Well, apparently it blew up on him. Apparently his there was so much edema or swelling, in other words, that he could barely stand on it, and that's understandable.
Yeah, and that's I feel like if he could have just stood up there and pitched the whole time, he would have been fine if he just kept active on it.
Yeah.
But the thing is, when you go and sit and give it a chance to relax, it's gonna swell up.
Yeah, I was really sad for him though, because that was a game he should have really ended up winning. But I think Amir Garin getting the win for that game.
Yeah, because he was down 1 run.
Right.
Yeah,
so.
that sucks. I mean, no decisions, no. I mean, it's not what you want, but it's also not a loss. So
yeah, you just feel bad though when you come out and you pitch a good game like that, and
yeah,
then you get pulled right before your routine goes up, and you don't get the credit for that.
Yeah.
Because we know at the end of the year it comes down to win-loss and ERA. I
agree.
And perhaps ERA is held a little bit higher in today's game than it was before. And people, I think, put it on a pedestal above win-loss. I mean, we saw it last year at Syndergaard, where the kid was absolutely nasty, had one of the lowest ERAs ever, and only won a handful of games and still.
Well, I think when you're rating pitchers, that's like a true stat that you can put up there that shows what the pitcher's doing. I mean, wins and losses absolutely are important, but that's more of a team stat rather than a pitcher stat. You know what I mean? Because, like we saw the past 8 games, you could go out there and deal and still lose the ball game.
Right.
I mean, a pitcher goes up there, Malley through a scoreless game, right? Through 6 innings, loses the game because the bullpen gives up run. Or well, I guess he didn't lose. I guess it's no decision, but still, you know what I mean?
Right.
Even if you go out there, you give up a run or two. I think a run or two is a winnable game, and it should be a winnable game with the kind of offense that we have.
Right.
And it like you said, it's unfortunate, and I think he wanted to stay out there. They interviewed him afterwards. He said he'll be fine by his next start, which I don't know if that's true. He may just be saying "screw you" to the training staff. You know how athletes like to do. I'm fine. You know what I mean? But it seems like he's okay. He was definitely dealing in his second and third start, and I'm excited to see him, as the season progresses. One thing I was worried about after that first start was he going to have the same home and away splits he had in New York, and I'm like, there's no way.
Right.
That was so weird.
So last year, I think the strength of the team was obviously, in terms of pitching, was the bullpen. I think that was unquestionable. One guy that no one's talking about right now is Robert Stevenson.
Yeah.
I mean, that guy, he has a whip of .632, which for me, I think in terms of telling how well a pitcher's doing, especially in terms of a reliever, I think that's much more indicative than an ERA. But even then, if you look at his ERA, we're looking at 1.42. I mean, this is a guy that, for me personally, I was ready to write off after two years ago. Yeah. I was ready to be done. He had no location, has all the velocity in the world, but no location. I remember at one point, we sat him down and pulled up. We let Bronson come in and pitch at 78 miles per hour, and so I think that I think that the coaching change was really good for Robert Stevenson. I think that David Bell has instilled a belief upon him, but also there is a sentiment of, this is it, man. You got to buck up here, buddy.
Well, he also, I think those stats are a little skewed, but he's doing well. But what does he have? 3 innings pitched?
Innings pitched 6.1.
Oh, okay.
So,
okay. I thought it was a little bit less than that,
Yeah.
but that's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. So let me see. Of the relievers, he has the most innings pitched of the relievers.
Really?
Yes.
I find that incredibly hard to believe.
Yep. He has 6.
Over Amir?
He has
Over David?
Amir has 5.2. David Hernandez has 5.2.
What does Michael Lorenzen have?
6.0.
So he's close.
Yeah.
He's close.
But so again, I think that, I mean, like I said, that's one of the things that was really impressive to me. Something that I don't think anyone's talking about.
Yeah.
Zach Duke is not is terrible. I would love to not see Zach Duke pitch the rest of the year. I can't handle it.
Some good innings.
I can't handle it.
Again, we're 12 games into the season. Give the man a chance. Good lord. Dun, 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 dun. We're gonna get like a sound clip, and every time that happens, we're just gonna play. Dun, 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 dun.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I don't know. Well, let's talk about some bright spots then, Andrew. Let's talk about some guys some other guys who aren't getting some love, but who are position players, and let's talk about what the implications are with how they're doing.
Yeah. So with Scooter Gennett being out on injury, our infield's been kind of fluid. And, that kind of worried me when he went down, what they were going to do with that, how they're going to get, guys rest. And we have two guys in particular who are stepping up to the plate and exceeding beyond expectations. Jose Iglesias and Derek Dietrich. Absolute monsters so far. I really am excited to see them in the lineup. I mean, Iglesias is making gems left and right. Dietrich slamming the ball all over the place. It's been really fun to watch him, and I think we need to get him in the lineup more. Even if that means shifting Peraza over and letting him play second, and then letting Iglesias play short. I think that infield's been very, very productive, and I think one thing that's really nice about having bench players that can come in and produce at a high level is there's no drop. A lot of the times, if you are having to make
a double switch,
if you have to make a double switch, you lose something.
Right.
So it's really nice to have a guy that can do it all. Obviously their defense is on par with what we have. Iglesias has been hitting the ball well as well. So I've been really pleasantly surprised with how these guys have played. Dietrich's a stud in my eyes. That dude can hit the ball like nobody's business. Now, obviously, against the Marlins, he struggled a little bit against his former team. But these guys are not young players.
Right.
These guys have been around for a while. They've been finding a spot, and I think they were late signings for us. They were late in the off season, so they're really good pickups. I really like having them on the team, and I think they're producing at a high level right now.
Right, and I think that the interesting thing is for my money, for an everyday player, I'd rather have, and for everyday lineup, I'd rather have Peraza at second and Iglesias at short.
Yeah.
And then keep Dietrich on the bench just because he's been so freaking clutch.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy has 8 ribbies. He's leading
3 home runs.
He's tied for the team league with 3 home runs.
With Gino.
His batting average is only 192. And again, I don't know the stat on this, but from a viewers and like the eye test, it feels like when he's starting and as a position player, and he's in the starting lineup, he doesn't hit as well as when he comes in off the bench for whatever reason. Whatever reason, I don't know what it is. Aside from the game against Pittsburgh where which this is awesome by the way, when he stared down and launched 2 freaking home runs into the river.
We'll talk about this in a minute.
Yeah, that was awesome. But to that point, I would really appreciate seeing Jose Iglesias and Jose Peraza in the lineup daily, and keep Dietrich in your back pocket for when you get in trouble.
Yeah, he's a stud. He's got that Chris Heisey syndrome.
Right.
You remember Chris Heisey?
Yeah.
Anytime you'd put him out in the outfield for any extended period of time, he'd strike out 3 times, but then you'd bring him in off the bench and he'd just smash the ball into the river. So these guys have been crucial to the success of the team. Obviously, Dietrich winning the game for us on opening day. Iglesias with Malley on the mound, he saved 3 or 4 runs.
Yeah.
I mean, they had runners in scoring position, and he made like 3 or 4 like really nice gems that saved runs. And we won that game by a run, so that's huge. And they're making huge contributions. They're not names anybody thought of. When you're bringing in Yasiel Puig and Matt Kemp and Roark and Sonny Gray and all these names, you forget that these guys are contributing at a high level. And,
Right.
That's one thing I want to talk about is Puig and Kemp are the exact opposite. You see them coming in and you're expecting them to come out hot, and Matt Kemp's coming off an all-star year, Puig is Puig, and I mean, they didn't get their first hit till the third game.
Right.
I mean, a Kemp till like his 6th game or 7th game. Obviously, he's put one over the fence, but
it's not like they've been lacking for at-bats. I mean...
Exactly. Obviously, with Puig's suspension.
Right. I mean, Matt Kemp has far more plate appearances than does Iglesias or Dietrich or... Matt Kemp has 35 plate appearances, which is more than even Tucker Barnhart, who is... I mean, other than like every 5th day, whenever you have Sonny Gray pitching, like he's the starting catcher. So
why is that?
The Reds have almost always had carried 2 catchers, and certain catchers catch certain pitchers. So Sonny Gray and Kirk Casale actually played college ball together, and have a long-standing relationship. And apparently, that's probably the reason why he wanted to come to Cincinnati, or was excited to come to Cincinnati. So Kirk Casale will always pitch Sonny Gray, barring injury.
Let's talk about Casale too, because he's been playing well.
Yeah, he's been playing all right.
Now, obviously, he's not the defensive catcher that Tucker Barnhart is.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, he's slashing doubles left and right. When we were playing the Brewers and they brought in Hader and everybody's swinging and missing, Casale comes in and rips a double. He's hitting well, and that's another place that's a plug-and-play thing, man. If you got guys can do it, you're going to be a pretty good ball club. But let's talk about the Reds and the Buccos here. So you mentioned it previously. Dietrich slams a ball into the river.
Mm-hmm.
He sits there and he stares at it, which, as we all know,
love it.
And if you don't know, it's an unwritten rule of baseball. It's not something you do.
Love it.
You can love it, but it is still an unwritten rule. You don't do that. He trots around the bases. Cervelli, their catcher, visibly didn't like it. Archer, their pitcher, visibly didn't like it. Personally, I don't care. If you hit a ball that far, stare at that thing.
Right.
And
you know what? You don't like it? Strike him out.
Yeah.
Get him out.
But with that, his next at bat, Archer slings the ball at Dietrich. And my opinion on this, and I'm kind of old school as far as it goes, but you know what? I don't have a problem with him throwing the ball at Dietrich. But you got to keep it within how they used to do it back in the day, where you throw it, you hit him in the middle of the back, you plunk him, and you move on. And that's my take on it, and that's how I look at it. But the way he was doing it, he threw it at his hands and his hips, which I don't think's cool. But I see you visibly have disdain for my opinion.
Yeah, so here the MLB is struggling for fandom, especially young fans. Okay, they do a really terrible job at marketing their stars. Not to say that Dietrich is a star, but Derek Dietrich is just in this particular one example that we can use as a platform here. The confidence, the if you want to call it swagger, I hate that word, but if you want to call it swagger, if you want to call it the
charisma.
Whatever the it factor is that is lacking in baseball, we should encourage that. And I think we're not Neanderthals here, okay? We're not freaking savages, all right? Let the players celebrate. Let the players so. And I don't know if you saw the videos of Archer.
Yeah.
Whenever he's been notorious for when he strikes someone out or he makes a big play.
He does this dance to the dugout.
He literally dances to the dugout. It's like, so what? They're going to take their bat and smack upside the head with it every time you do that? No, that's ridiculous, right? That's not good for the game. That's not good for the players. We want our best players to be healthy. We want our best players to play. You need a market to your best players and your stars as well, which the MLB hasn't done thus far. And so that being said, I think it's awesome. Smack the hell out of the ball, drop the bat, stare them down. And guess what? If you don't like it, just like when in the NFL, if someone scores a touchdown and someone celebrates touchdown, you don't see them fighting. No. You know what? Don't let them in the end zone. Don't let them hit a home run. Don't let them get on base. Don't let them steal on you. Whatever it might be. Don't let them strike you out. You don't want the pitcher celebrating your fit. Don't let them strike you out. Hit the damn ball.
Yeah.
And throw the damn towel. No, I'm just kidding. So I mean, my thing is again, I think it's stupid to have that in the game still. I think to have these unwritten rules is stupid. He should have been ejected right away. The fact that they only got a warning was ridiculous.
And then he only gets a 5-game suspension.
Right,
which means nothing.
Right.
It means nothing. It means he misses 1 game. That's what it means.
And not even, they really just, like, it essentially gets, like, an extra rest. You know what I mean? It's not even, like, it, because people get bumped in their starts all the time like that. He essentially was given no suspension. I think when that kind of stuff happens, pitchers should be given at least a minimum of 15-game suspension. You miss essentially 2 to 3 starts, 3 scheduled starts. And me and you talked about it off air. I thought that the Yasiel Puig suspension was fine. He deserved a slap on the wrist. You know, I mean,
No, I agree with that.
Yeah, and that was fine. Whatever. I have no problem with that.
Here's my big thing was, like, David Bell was suspended. Like, managers go out and argue all the time. What the heck is that about?
Right. Well, and I love the fact that he went out there, had the guys back.
He was hot.
Yeah. He had the guys back. I love that. Love that the manager.
Yeah.
I think that Cincinnati, the city of Cincinnati, appreciates that. I think that's how we are.
Well, it's something we didn't get with Riggleman or Price.
Yeah, Brian.
I mean, Price was the guy who went and got ejected before the game even started.
Right.
For something, which was weird. Like.
Yeah, and that's the thing. If you listen to, so for those of you guys who don't know, David Bell was in our minor league system for a long time, coached in our minor league system. And one thing, like Zach Kozart, when he was down there, always said is that one thing you know about David Bell is no matter what, he's got your back.
Yeah.
And I think from a player standpoint, that's really helpful, especially for these guys who, going back to like the Robert Stevensons of the world, having not had the success that you may have wanted in the major league or at the major league level, and knowing that a guy that has your back like that, regardless of the situation, whether it's hey, you're slumping, you're 1-13, you're Scott Schebler, or hey, the last 3 seasons as Robert Stevenson, I've had ERAs over 8, or whatever it might be, you have that confidence going in that you can play, and I think that David Bell has shown that he doesn't care about making decisions that aren't popular. I mean, he played Jesse Winker in center field the other day. A couple of years ago, we're talking about, can Jesse Winker be an effective outfielder,
Yeah.
And so I think that, again, it's really impressive to me. I really appreciate the job he's done. The only criticism I really have is that I think he pulls his starters too early sometimes.
I agree.
I think sometimes you gotta let him pitch. But you know what, though? I mean, I'll say that he probably knows his guys a lot better than I do, so maybe he sees something that we don't, or knows something that we don't. And again, it's early in the season. Perhaps as we go further in the season, he'll let him pitch longer and further into the games. He's maybe just trying to get their conditioning up a little bit and not get their arms too tired, because obviously we have a lot more games to play going forward. So
yeah, and my other kind of like thing that I'm confused about is a lot of the Pirates players weren't suspended either. So it was just Archer and.
That was it.
That was it.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Did you see that one bullpen pitcher who was ejected? I don't know his name, but he wasn't even dressed.
Right.
He was in like a sweatshirt.
Yeah.
And he's going hard. And all these Reds key players get ejected and suspended, and it's like what the heck? What the heck? Were we fighting ourselves, or like Amir Garrett? Whatever. I'm kind of laying on that. He obviously didn't get suspended. He got ejected though.
Right.
Which is big. He's a big name in our bullpen.
I mean, he has one of the most innings pitched of any of our bullpen relievers. So,
and Yasiel Puig has to be taken out. That's kind of whatever. But David Bell's gone. And I don't know how good of a manager Benavidez is, but
well, I mean, hey, not that this means anything, but they did score 14 runs with him at the helm.
I feel like I could manage a 14 run lead to a win.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know what I mean? But like when he took over, it was like game over. It was like bing, bing, bing.
I'm talking about the next game though. With
the Marlins. Yeah, I'm talking about with the Pirates.
Yeah, I was talking about with the Marlins.
That game went negative very soon.
Yeah.
Dietrich hit another home run that day too.
Yeah.
He hit 2 that day.
Yeah.
And he sat there and watched the next one too, which was awesome.
I love it.
But yeah, after that though, Chris Welsh pointed something out, and I want to kind of get your vibe on that. Did you happen to see the pine tar on Archer's jersey?
Yeah, I've seen. Everyone does it. They put it. Everyone puts it somewhere different. So.
Some put it on the brim of their hat.
I don't want to call this person out, but I have friends that work very closely in Major League Baseball. A lot of them do, brim of the hat, or like Bronson Arroyo used to put it in his crotch, and that's why he would always grab his, because that's where his was. Everyone does it. I think that sure, is it cheating by the book? Yeah, it is. And to me, I mean, you're allowed to have it for your batting gloves. Like, what's the difference if you put it on your hands? You know, I mean, I think it's something that's like, the Major League Baseball needs to just come out and be like, let them use the pine tar, whatever. How much of a benefit does it actually provide? I think it's very marginal.
I think it's a little bit more than you might think.
But I mean, maybe. I mean, it's enough to where they all do it and they take the risk of getting fined or suspended for using it. So.
Either make it. I mean, I understand everybody does it, but if you're gonna be that blatant about it, like. Especially after you just tried to be one of our players. Like,
oh, believe me, I hate Pittsburgh, and I would love to see Chris Archer suspended for multiple games. And I can't stand Pittsburgh. I hate the city.
I was just thinking the other day though, like in our division, I hate them the least.
Nah, I mean, I hate
Cards can go to hell.
Yeah, I hate St. Louis.
Cubs now are so arrogant.
I honestly would take the city. I just have such a hatred of Pittsburgh across the board.
I know, but I don't let it
because it goes back to Big East football with UC and Pitt University and
come on
and
what?
And the Steelers and I hate Pittsburgh.
I hate the city and I hate the football team.
It's gross. The people there, the people who support them are trash.
I think, however, though, it's the team I hate the least in the division. I hate Ryan Braun.
Oh man, me too.
I can't stand Ryan Braun.
Too.
I hate Anthony Rizzo.
My gosh.
I hate Javi Baez for the Cubs. I hate Yachty. I wish Yachty would go away. I hate Carpenter.
I'm biased. I have family that plays for the Cubs. That's why I feel like I can't. I can't.
Schwarber.
The Cubs were bad for so long, man. I don't
care, dude. Javi Baez is the worst. Talking about showing people up, Baez gets so butthurt. Do you remember when Amir Garrett struck him out last year?
Yeah.
And he got all butthurt, but every time he hits like a double or something, he's like doing some dance.
So let me ask you this: if let's say Cincinnati Reds could not, they absolutely could not win the division, who would you want to win the division?
Pirates.
Really?
I didn't mind Milwaukee winning it. Even though I hate Ryan Braun.
Oh, I hate Ryan Braun.
I can't stand him. I'm telling you, I guess Pittsburgh, man. I don't want the Cubs to win it anymore. I'm sick of... I think they're arrogant now. I think they're just slinging money around for no reason.
I feel like we need to feature Mr. Poley on this show, and you guys can talk about the Cubs
I don't want to talk to Poley. I've already talked to Poley. All he's going to do is, who won a World Series more recently? Okay. When was the last time you won one after that?
Right.
400 years ago?
That's funny.
Yeah. But yeah, and that's kind of how I look at it.
That's funny though, because that's the same argument I use when I get in arguments with UC versus XU. I'm like, national championship ring count, baby. And when 1964, I'm like, yeah. But you don't have one.
It's nice to have teams that actually have championships.
Yeah.
Because every time I get in a Bengals argument, it's like it always ends up with no Super Bowl, and you're like, you're right. End of this. You can't take the discussion further after that. No Super Bowls. Fair enough. Yeah. It's like unless I'm arguing with a Panthers fan, a Lions fan, a Houston fan, I have nothing.
Right.
I have nothing. Right. Super Bowl, it's like,
okay.
All right.
Done.
Cool, done.
See ya.
Cool. All right.
Yeah.
But let's move on. That's so far the Reds. Our first impression is, obviously a rough start. I think they're going to get it back on track. They're definitely in the process of doing that right now with a series sweep. Sweep it.
Oh man, he just swept everything off our desk. Yeah. That was weird.
Sweep it off. Move on. We go to Mexico to play the Cardinals, the hated Cardinals. I hate them so much. So we'll check back in on that. So far so good. Obviously the 8-game losing streak sucks, but like I said, they're moving on. You have anything else you want to put on that?
I'll leave it at that. I'm really excited going forward. Hopefully, please come out and go to some Reds games, guys.
My God, please.
It is embarrassing and for me in my pocketbook, I make money off of people going to the Reds games. Please come and make me money. And it's embarrassing seeing 6,000 people there. And hopefully as the weather gets nicer and things like that, people will be coming. And hopefully as we continue to play better and the team kind of, I understand that they haven't given me much reason to come and watch in the last couple of years, but good God, 8,000 people? Come on, man.
Did you see Matt Latos?
No, I did not see Matt Latos.
Matt Latos, who, if you aren't aware, is a former Reds pitcher. posted on Facebook. I've never known like a famous person to have a Facebook.
Oh, I have, but go ahead.
Isn't that kind of weird?
Yeah, his wife is not pleasant. Sorry, Matt, if you're listening to this. I know you're not, but...
But he said, like, he made a really good point. Like, my God, like, guys, we can do better than 11,000 people there.
Right.
Obviously, they're on a losing streak, but you're 12 games into the season.
In 3 games, the Reds had less people that attended 3 games than FC had attended 1.
Okay. My point on that is FC is new and fresh. Let's give it 150 years.
I'm just saying.
You know what I mean?
Just saying.
Let's give. I watched that game on Sunday.
Yeah.
Ended in a tie.
Which uniform are you most excited to see them wear?
The Reds.
Yeah.
The one, the 70s uniform.
Really?
I love the 70s.
I enjoy it.
I love it.
My favorite, though, is like the late 90s, early 2000s.
With the vest?
The vest,
with the pinstripes?
Yes.
Oh, that is pretty clean, too.
And I prefer the black one, actually.
I just think Sean Casey when I see that uniform.
Sean Casey, I think of, like, just at the end of his prime Griffey, like,
yeah.
That's pretty dope.
The black one's definitely sicker than the pinstripe one.
Yeah, those were, well, they have black pinstripe ones, too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it's pretty sick.
No, I'm a real big fan of the 70s uniform. Just the all white with the...
I like it, yeah.
With the red
yep,
accents.
I've got the Johnny Bench.
That's slick.
The Johnny Bench jersey. It's
That's
pretty
slick.
sick.
And it's all obviously nostalgic. When you look at that jersey, you think of winning baseball and you think of the Big Red Machine.
Right.
And I just love it. I love it. It's so simple. It makes me wish the Bengals would go back to their simpler days, too.
No stripes on the helmet.
Nah, I like the stripes on the helmet. That's
too.
like the only thing I like. But like I just wish they'd mix it up. And I wish the Reds would mix it up too. And I'm excited. I'm excited for these uniforms.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
I am hyped. And I saw some of the hats they're doing too.
Yeah.
For all these like special events like Father's Day and Mother's Day.
Yeah.
And pretty much all of them except for the Father's Day hat. I was really excited for.
Yeah, I've really thought about quitting my job so I can start going to these games. I want some of these giveaways, man. These are sick.
They are slick.
Yeah.
These hats are slick. Like they have a camo hat for Armed Forces Day.
Right.
It's camo with gold accent. It's clean.
Right.
Oh, I'm excited. But let's move on. UC basketball.
Ugh.
Okay. They have lost our longtime coach Mick Cronin. So I'm gonna let you take head on this one, Logan. Go ahead.
So first of all, for all the Mick Cronin haters out there, you got what you wanted. He's gone. He's making a lot more money somewhere else. As a person who's not a Mick Cronin hater, as a person who really respects and appreciates what he did.
This is coming from Captain Pessimism, guys.
I wish him the best of luck going forward. I certainly think he deserves to pursue. I think he's done everything that a UC fan can expect a coach to do here. I think that he deserves an opportunity to go and prove himself elsewhere too. And best of luck to Mick going forward. That being said, to those people who called for his head, careful what you ask for, and I guess we're gonna see how it works out. Andrew and I were talking off air, and I think that this will kind of mark the end of an era. We've essentially had a guy in between, but we've essentially had 2 coaches over the last couple of decades, and I've only when you ask about a UC coach, like if you ask the common person, they know Bobby Huggins and they know Mick Cronin. That's who they know. And I think there's something to be said about that. And I think that there is something to be said about taking a non-power conference school and going to the tournament, 9 years in a row plus. And I think there's something to be said about just the model of consistency. And when Mick Cronin was given the reins, the program was in shambles. We had academic issues with student athletes, character issues with student athletes, and it was really hard to watch UC basketball. It was hard to get behind the guys who were putting on UC basketball uniforms. And Mick Cronin changed all of that. I mean, when we talk about the UC basketball guys, they all seem like stand-up guys. You don't hear about them getting in trouble beyond the Yancey Gates year. Which that was awesome. I was completely for that.
Talk about bras.
Yeah, zip them up, right, boys? Jerks.
We're a bunch of thugs in our locker room.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I can't handle it. But anyways, So outside of that, I mean, just outstanding individuals. You see in the last 30 years. I mean, if you think about the NBA players who have had success in the NBA, it's been Mick Cronin guys, and just we had one class send out 2 NBA guys. One was a first round pick. Again, he's done a great job of maximizing talent. He's done a great job of getting key transfers, whether it was Octavius Ellis or it was Kane Broome or Kyle Washington. Mick Cronin did an excellent job here in Cincinnati. He will be well missed. And a little bit later, when we go to Love It or Shove It, I'll ask you some questions about the future coaching situation.
Oh God, yeah. And we were kind of talking about how different the culture is going to be at UC, and I was saying maybe they go towards an offensive minded kind of thing, and you had you shook your head at me, and you made a good point. You kind of laid it out as to be able to go get those guys. A lot of those guys who are these prolific scorers aren't the best at going and playing defense. And the guys that aren't interested in going to UC.
They're going to Duke. They're going to North Carolina. They're going to Kentucky.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think that's a good way of looking at it. Is the way that UC's played basketball the past. How long has he been there? 13 years.
Yeah.
The past 13 years has been defense first, and it kind of has to be that way for us. If you can go get a guy who can lock down on defense, and then you get 1 or 2 guys who can shoot real well, it works out for us. Because like you said, the guys that are going to go be really good scorers aren't the ones we're going to get. Aren't going to be the ones that are going to be good enough to take over a ball game.
Right.
And you watch a game, a Duke game or a UNC game or something like that, and they're shooting the ball all over the place, and the guys that can carry the team aren't going to end up in Cincinnati. It's just not going to happen. And I think that's such a valid point. I think the way that Mick handled that and how he kind of ran his program was perfect for what kind of talent we could get in Cincinnati.
Right.
And I think, like you said, he maximized his talent. I think he unlocked a lot of potential out of a lot of players who otherwise wouldn't have, been the way that they are. And I'm grateful to have had him here in Cincinnati. I'm not a huge basketball guy, but it was always fun to click on a UC basketball game, and I hope that continues. I mean, it's not the end of the world, guys. It's we still don't know who the coach is going to be. We've heard some names. It's still a long process. Obviously, UCLA, we just went through this whole thing where they were like freaking out, and they offered Cal some cash, and then Kentucky signed him up for life, and then they reached Mick, and they're like, he is a solid coach. And personally, I don't think Mick matches that lifestyle. What do you think? I don't think Mick is is gonna work out in UCLA. Like, not in the basketball program, but in like LA or in Cal in itself. He's a West Side guy.
It'll be interesting to see how the players who are there currently respond to Mick Cronin, because I think that Mick Cronin is a very hard person to play for. I think that in terms of attitude and persona, he's kind of similar to a Tom Izzo, but without the Tom Izzo profile. So, he's not a national champion. He hasn't had that same level of success in the tournament itself, but he's going to demand and talk to you like he is a champion, and he's going to want and talk to you like you need to work to be a champion. And I think that it'll be interesting. I told you off air, I think that he's got 3 years to go past the Sweet 16.
Yeah.
And after that, I think he's going to be on a short leash there, which I think is interesting because, in my opinion, I think he's earned more than that. But, heck, I wouldn't turn $4 million a year down. No way.
Absolutely not. And a chance to be in a big conference, I
mean, it's the Pac-12, but still, it is a power conference. Yeah, and it's one of the Power Six, one of the basketball Power Six, and so we'll see. I wish him the best of luck. I think the thing that'll be most interesting is see what he does with the access to a higher level of talent. that he didn't have access to at UC.
Yeah.
So that'll be really interesting.
Yeah, but I think we move on there. All right, so we're gonna do a little segment here called "Love It or Shove It." That's where Logan provides a question. We say if we love it, if you love it, you think it's gonna happen, you think it's a possibility, you think it's gonna work out that way, or shove it. I don't buy it. I don't think it's gonna happen. I don't like it. Get out of my face. So go ahead, Logan.
All right, so given the topics of conversation today, they're going to be mostly Cincinnati Reds and UC basketball questions.
Love it.
Are you ready?
Yep.
Okay. Love it or shove it. The Reds will have more than one All-Star this year.
I love it. And I'll tell you why.
Okay, go ahead.
Joey Votto is going to be an All-Star. Mm-hmm. And I think
he should be every year.
He should be every year. Because he, one, is the best pitcher in baseball.
Not pitcher.
Or, I'm not pitcher, hitter. Hitter in baseball. I don't know why I said pitcher. I got pitchers on the ring. He's the best hitter in baseball. Mm-hmm. Best overall hitter. I mean, obviously, he's not hitting for power or anything like that. But as far as control and on-base percentage and all that, Joey Votto's the man. Mm-hmm. And I think his offense is on par with an all-star and everything like that. I think he'll be an all-star. That means one person has to step up. And I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility.
Who do you think, if there's one other person, who do you think it'll be?
I think it'll be another infielder. And I think it's a toss-up between Gino and Peraza.
Okay.
I think I'm leaning toward Gino just because Gino's got the power. But Peraza has been playing extremely well this season. Right. He ended the season last year on a hot note. And, I wouldn't be surprised if we're going into the halfway mark and Peraza's...
I think what will hurt Jose Peraza is the fact that I think if you played second base the rest of the year, I think that he could definitely have a really good shot.
Him splitting positions.
But I think him splitting time between two positions are going to hurt him. Gino, on the other hand, I think Eugenio Suarez should be an all-star. I think he's one of the top 3 third basemen in the league.
I would agree. Behind Arenado.
I mean, yeah, and I honestly, I put him right up there. I think he's outstanding. I think that in terms of glove work and footwork,
he's definitely improved on that. Yeah.
I think he's great. I mean, the guy was a natural shortstop, and he moved over to third, which isn't a too terrible transition. But I mean, he's got glove talent. So yeah, I'll say love it as well. Yeah. I'll say we get 2. I don't know if it'll be Gino. It might be a Yasiel Puig if he turns it on and gets hot late.
You think?
Maybe so. And I think that part of that will be like...
You think it's Joey, though, right? You think it's going to be
Joey Votto has to be there.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Right. Has to be there.
Except you got people like Goldschmidt.
Yeah, I mean...
And Rizzo.
And they're going to have better power numbers than Joey. That's just the reality. But in terms of... he's one of the best... He has the most impressive approach at the plate of any player I've seen in my lifetime. It's so methodical. Yeah,
it's just so methodical. Dude, that's why nobody puts the shifts on this man. Like
right.
You see,
he did, and then he broke it. Did you see it the other night?
Yeah, and then you're like this. Okay, He's like, you're gonna leave the left side of the field open. Bink, let me just shoot it into left field, real easy down the line. Or do you remember last year? I think the Cubs did this. They had like this weird shift where they had like 4 outfielders and they're all shift over, and he still hit it.
Right.
He still hit it. He pulled the ball to the shift, but still like squirted down the line. He's just so good, and I just find it hard to believe he won't be an all-star by the middle of the season.
So going off that, love it or shove it, Joey Votto will surpass his home run total last year of 12 home runs.
I think so. I think
you love it?
Yeah, I love it. Sorry. I love it. I forgot the premise of the game. No, I think so. And the reason I think so, he started off a little slow. He's getting kind of old. Obviously, he's not smacking the ball all over the place. Do we know how many home runs he had at this time last year?
I don't. Unfortunately, I don't know that stat, and I don't have access to that right now since we're kind of getting the last few minutes of our show here. But
I think he doesn't, and that's just pure optimism and no statistical analysis there.
Right.
It's just a hope and a belief. I think I love that one. What do you think?
I'm gonna shove it, man. I'm gonna shove it.
Really?
I think going into the 2 slot, I don't think he's thinking power anymore.
That's true, and it's more of a flip switch than it is him wanting to.
I think that age does play a factor. I think that he has lost some of his power ability, and again, I think with the lineup that we have, barring injury, he doesn't have to. Right. And so I think he'll be maybe 12 to 15. But I'll say shove it. I'll say shove it. All right, you ready for the next question?
Give it to me, Daddy-O.
All right. Love it or shut it. Sorry, love it or shove it. Scooter Gennett will lose his starting position.
Shove it. Shove it. I don't think so.
Do you think he'll actually be back to play again this year?
I think so. They said he's up and walking around doing all this stuff. It's just, what is it, a strain?
He tore his...
he tore something?
He tore a groin muscle. I believe it's be his adductor longus.
Really? I didn't know this. Yeah. I didn't know he tore it. I just thought he strained it. No. Yeah, I don't think he loses his starting spot. I think...
It wasn't a complete tear, but it wasn't
I mean, after the 2 seasons he gave us, I mean, it's his position to lose. I don't think he's going to lose it. I mean, if he comes back and even plays on average, I just don't...
I don't think he loses it, but I don't think he makes it back and plays... I think he comes back, he plays a couple games, re-aggravates it, because, I mean, I think people are downplay.
So do you love it or shove it?
I shove it.
Okay. You forgot the game too, sir.
Yeah, I did. I do shove it. I don't think he loses his starting position, but I don't know that he actually comes back and plays meaningful amount of games either.
That's not the question.
Right. So I shoved it.
You shoved that. I think the upside of him is just so big. I don't think you can take him out of the lineup.
Right. All right. So going back to a position / lineup question. Love it or shove it. The Reds should make Iglesias an everyday player at shortstop.
Now, before I answer this question, is that with Scooter in the lineup or just right now?
Love it or shove it. Should the Reds make Jose Iglesias an everyday player at shortstop?
You didn't specify my question. Okay, I love it.
Basically, so I'll say as the roster currently constructed with people on DL as is.
Okay, then I love it. I love it. He's been so clutch this year. Mm-hmm. I mean, his defense has been insane. I think he brings more upside as far as glove-wise for our ball club. And like we said, I don't know if we said this on air or off air, but Dietrich has been so clutch off the bench.
Yeah.
And it feels like when he's got a regular spot, it's not as beneficial to the team.
Right.
And I don't know what it is. It's like I said, it's that Chris Heisey effect. You come off and you hit off the bench well, and then you struggle a little bit when you're in a regular lineup. And I think Iglesias could be a starting shortstop somewhere.
Right. I love it, and I love it with or without Scooter in the lineup. I think that you find a way to get Peraza maybe in the outfield or something like that if Iglesias is still playing as well as he is now. So I love it.
What do you do with Scooter?
You leave him at second. You keep Iglesias is short.
You move Peraza where?
Out in the outfield.
Oh, he's fast enough.
Yeah, I think that you bump him to center, pull Schebler, keep him on the bench.
I don't hate that.
Yeah.
And my thing was,
and he played center his first year up. He played center field a lot.
Yeah, my thing was I don't want to kick Scooter out because his bat's so good.
Right. I think that's the thing. I think if we have a healthy Scooter Gennett that plays like Scooter Gennett of last year, you keep him in. But I'm saying maybe move Peraza somewhere in the outfield, and it depends on obviously how well we're hitting otherwise. And Iglesias has shown struggles in the last couple of years, so who knows if we'll be able to maintain that any kind of level of consistency there. But I do like that. I love it. All right, love it or shove it. The Reds should move Jesse Winker, the Wink, out of the leadoff spot.
Shove it. And my reason is, who you can put in there? I mean, and that's pure reason. I think Winker does a good job with hitting with runners in scoring position. However, I don't know of anybody who would take that spot. I think Schebler's been subpar in the leadoff spot. I think that's a big thing that the Reds have been lacking for a long time. Mm-hmm. Is a solid leadoff hitter. Mm-hmm. I can't tell you the last good leadoff hitter we had.
Honestly, I don't.
Like Billy Hamilton's been left something to
be desired. Yeah, he just got hurt. He just got hurt. They had to cart him off the field in a knee injury.
Dang, that sucks.
Yeah, so prayers up for Billy.
Yeah.
To answer the question, I'm going to say I love it. I think Jesse Winker is a much better asset somewhere where he can drive in runs more consistently. I do like the fact that he's able in the number 1 slot to get a lot more ABs.
Yeah.
And in many cases, he's been able to drive in runs later in the games.
Yeah.
But I think that you can still. I think you can slide a Peraza or an Iglesias in there.
Peraza would probably be good, but Peraza's hitting well.
Yeah. Again, I don't. It's not. Again, it's not an indictment against Jesse Winker or lack of belief in his ability to hit in the leadoff. I just think that he's just a monster with people in scoring position. So
yeah,
that's something to look into maybe. Okay, we got 2 more, ladies and gentlemen. We're almost done. Love it or shove it. The Reds will make the playoffs this year.
I already booked this one. I love this, and I'm gonna stay engaged into this until the season's over.
Mm-hmm.
After October, or until whenever that. I'm loving it, and I've told you that from day one, and that was even before seeing how the pitching was doing. So I'm really loving it, and if they can continue even a semblance of this pitching staff, and they continue to perform at this, even a little bit close to this level, not even at this high of a level. They're the 7th ranked pitching. They got the 7th ranked pitcher. Sonny Gray doesn't have to be the ace if Luis Castillo steps up and becomes the ace. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I love this, and I'm gonna take that to my grave.
Despite being really impressed with the performance of our starting pitching, I shove it. I shove it extremely I struggle with it, but I shove it, and I still think that we're just a 78, maybe 81 win team.
All right, okay. So, like I said, mark it.
All right.
You guys heard it.
Last one here before we close out. Love it or shove it. The Bearcats should hire Nick Van Exel as their next head coach.
He's a former Bearcat, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is he an NBA coach right now?
He is coaching the NBA. He's a G League coach right now.
You know what? I love it. I'm always a fan of bringing former UC guys or former Cincinnati guys back. Obviously it doesn't always work out. I personally am not sure of other coaching candidates that are interested in UC. Mm-hmm. We got a good ball team, but it's it's also not the most attractive job ever.
Right.
You know what I mean?
With the field that's out there, I love it, but I love it with this caveat: we have to hire a good supporting staff for him. As a first-time collegiate coach, I think you need some good mentors around you. For whatever reason, the trend has been hire former players that have gone to university. Sometimes it's work out. I think Penny Hardaway is doing a pretty decent job in Memphis, at least with recruiting.
Mm-hmm.
The difference is that Penny Hardaway had 3 or 4 years of a pipeline of recruiting. He was in AAU camps all the time. He was around those kids, had access to them, developed relationships with them in a way that Van Exel just hasn't had the opportunity to.
Yeah.
So I guess my question would be his ability to recruit and recruit effectively. It's something that he hasn't had to do yet.
Yeah.
And but I say I love it because he knows the Bearcats way. He does have a love for the school and a connection to the city that most other candidates wouldn't have. And as a UC fan and as a West Sider and diehard Cincinnatian, I appreciate that.
Yeah, I agree. All right, is that the last one?
That is the last one, ladies and gentlemen. So that's been episode 6 of Around the Natty podcast. We really enjoyed having you around here. Please, again, hit us up on Twitter at Around the Natty _ between each word. Hit us up. Check us out on YouTube and Spotify. And
please subscribe, guys.
Yeah, subscribe, like, interact.
Message us if you hate something we say. Call them out, Captain Pessimism. You know what I mean? If you want to call him out, I don't blame you.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to find him and hit him with your car, I don't blame you. We gotta get this guy fixed.
It's made a big dent.
You got good insurance. You
right.
can make it happen. But again, please subscribe. Please check out this video. Please tell your friends about this video. That's all I have, Logan. I'll let you take it.
Yep. And this has been Logan.
And I've been Andrew.
And we'll catch you